Morning, third graders. Today is Monday, April 20th. Today, your assignment in language arts is to continue working on this fair weather clouds poem in your benchmark book. You should have already read this poem multiple times at this point with completing assignments from last week. So your job this week is to move through your benchmark packet and work on pages 2 and 3. This is your job for today. It's text feature footnotes and metaphors. These are two different worksheets in your packet. Text feature footnotes is page 2, and then metaphors is page 3. You need to answer as many questions as you can, but you will have time to finish this again on Wednesday if you don't get a chance to finish it today. I'm going to split this video into two chunks, or this assignment into two videos, I should say. This video is going to focus on page 2, the text feature footnotes. I will post a separate one about the metaphors worksheet just to keep videos short. So you're going to need your poem out of your benchmark book. Your benchmark book is called Weather and Climate, and I'm on page 4 for fair weather clouds. You're also going to need your benchmark packet. It looks like this. And I know that it says benchmark week 1. Please ignore this date range. When I printed these, I had planned on doing a benchmark lesson a day, and then I decided to slow it down. So this, I know that it says week 1, but we're moving a little bit slower than that. So it's still in the week 1 packet, and it is on page 2. It has this cute little cloud at the bottom. And it's the one that looks like this. So if you need to pause the video now to get your benchmark book or your benchmark packet, go ahead and do so now and then click play when you're ready to keep going. Okay, so today we're talking about footnotes. And so I'm going to read this little section up here to you. It says, footnotes can be included at the bottom of a poem to give the reader more information. They help the reader visualize the text. Look at the footnotes at the bottom of Fair Weather Clouds and think about how they help you visualize the poem, then complete the chart. Okay, so footnotes help me. They kind of, I think, clarify some of the information that you might not understand in the poem. So here is my poem here, and at the bottom here are my footnotes. I've labeled them for you. And they call them footnotes because they are at the foot of the page. Think about where your feet are on your body. They're at the bottom of your body. So the footnotes are at the bottom of the page. So I have, you can see these footnotes are organized with numbers. You can see I have a little number 1 here, and it says splay, and then to spread out. Number 2, cumulus, white puffy cloud with a flat base that indicates little or no precipitation. Precipitation means rain. Number 3, billowing, filling up and swelling outward. Swelling means getting bigger, puffing up. Okay. And number 4, nimbus, large gray rain cloud. So I have these little numbers. Now you might be wondering why I have these little numbers. Or you might have noticed as you read the poem that there are little numbers included inside the poem next to these words. So as you can see, for example, here's splay, and it has this little number 1 next to it, and that matches the little number 1 here next to the same word in my footnotes. So you can use it to kind of like how we've talked about context clues, where instead of the clues being around the word within the text, they give you little hints at the bottom about the definitions of those words so that you can help yourself to understand the poem or piece of text better. So in this case, in the second stanza, stanzas, remember, are like paragraphs in poetry. So I have my first stanza, my second stanza, my third stanza, and so I can organize my poem by stanzas. I can also talk about them by lines. This is line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, look, line 5, okay? So you'll notice on your worksheet for today that it has each of the words that are in your footnotes, splay, cumulus, billowing, and nimbus. And then it wants to know what the footnote says and what it helps you visualize, what it helps you better understand or better see in this poem. So I've already done splay for you. You can see if you needed to do this on your own that they tell you where the word is based on its line. So splay was in line 6. So looking at my poem, line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Here's splay right here. Okay, so this line says, now I tilt my head back, splay my hands, pressing into the fresh waves of prairie. And you'll notice I have some annotations here. This is for another lesson, so come back for that one. Okay, so splay in this case means spread out. If I look here, now I tilt my head back, spread out my hands, pressing into the fresh waves of prairie, then it makes sense. I'm spreading out my hands, I'm splaying out my fingers and pressing them into the fresh green grass. Okay, so that's what I wrote here. Splay means to spread out. I got to spread out from my footnote down here. And then I wrote that it helps me visualize what the author's hands look like. I just showed you what splaying your hands out looks like, spread out. And so you can visualize that now. Okay, the next one here is cumulus. It's in line 11. So going to line 11, I can use these to help me. Here's 10, so here's 11, cumulus with the little number 2. I'm going to reread this whole stanza until this point. Above the sky, the blue field is thick with piles of cumulus cotton ripe for picking. Okay, cumulus cotton. I don't know what the word cumulus means, so I can look down here. White puffy cloud with a flat base that indicates little or no precipitation. So when you see a white fluffy cloud, kind of like this one, you know that it's not going to rain that day. It's usually clouds that are in the sky when it's blue and not looking like rain. So we're going to write what the footnote says here. Okay, so I've copied this down now. I wrote down the exact same words that are in my footnotes. And now replacing cumulus in my brain with knowing that a cumulus cloud is a white puffy cloud that's usually in the sky on a day that it's not going to rain or that the sun is out, right? That kind of paints a happy picture in your brain. So looking here, it is thick with piles of cumulus cotton ripe for picking. They're talking about the clouds in the sky are puffy that day. So what does that help us visualize? Well, it helps us visualize some puffy, nice weather clouds. So we're going to go ahead and write that here. You can pause the video and write that down. It has made us visualize. I wrote that it helped us visualize a nice weather cloud, and I even drew this little puffy cloud here with a smiley face. Okay? Now, my next word that I'm looking for in my footnotes is billowing. It tells me that billowing is in line 14. So I can find that here. It says, ripe for picking, stuffing, and quilting, heaping and billowing about. So they're still talking about that the field above the sky is like a blue field filled with puffy white clouds, and they're saying like cumulus cotton like the plant, ripe for picking, stuffing, and quilting, heaping and billowing about. And billowing, according to my footnote, is filling up and swelling outward. It's kind of like puffing out, like it's spilling over the sides. It's really big and pleasant looking usually. So that again helps us visualize a big puffy cloud. So go ahead and copy down the footnote for billowing and then what it helps you visualize. Okay, so now I've written the footnote that matches with billowing, and then I wrote that it helps me to visualize a big puffy cloud, right? If a cloud is billowing, it's big, it's puffy, it's fluffy. So that's what I wrote here. My last one for today is nimbus. Now, according to my footnotes, Nimbus is described as a large gray rain cloud. So pretty much the opposite of this cumulus cloud, right? Cumulus is the white puffy ones that fill the sky when it's little to no precipitation. And these nimbus clouds are the large gray rain clouds. So let's see how it's being used in line 19. It says, later when they grow gray and nimbus, the rain will come. So see, that makes sense. The large gray rain cloud will come before the rain will. So go ahead and copy down that footnote and then write what you think it helps you visualize. A little bit better. They're there to help you when you don't understand a word. And I think that that's particularly helpful in this poem with some of this weather terminology that we might not have known yet. So the last thing on this page says, look at the footnotes under fair weather clouds. Which two footnotes give more information about types of clouds? Go ahead and pause this video and select your answer. Remember, you need to select two choices here. Okay, now that you've unpaused the video and you're ready for the answers, the two types of the two footnotes that give more information about types of clouds are obviously the two different footnotes that described types of clouds. So the first type of cloud we talked about was cumulus. So you should have circled choice B. And the other type of cloud that we talked about was nimbus, and that's choice D. So make sure that you have two footnotes circled down here, the cumulus and the nimbus. Okay, don't forget to come back to the next video. The next video will be titled Metaphors, and we'll be going over this page, page 3 in your packet. So don't forget to come watch this one after because it is still your responsibility for today's assignment. I'll see you soon.